RBG refers to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, an influential and highly respected figure in American law and justice. Ruth Bader Ginsburg served as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from 1993 until her death in 2020. She was the second woman to serve on the Supreme Court and has been recognized for her advocacy of gender equality and civil rights. Ruth Bader Ginsburg became known for her strong legal opinions and became an icon for her progressive views, earning her the nickname Notorious RBG, but I would rather say Resolute RBG. Her legacy and impact continue to inspire many people. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, often referred to as RBG, was an American jurist and Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. She served on the Supreme Court from 1993 until her death in 2020. Ginsburg was born on March 15, 1933, in Brooklyn, New York, to parents Celia and Nathan Bader. Her father was a furrier, and her mother was a strong advocate for her daughter's education. Ginsburg's family was Jewish, and she was raised in a culturally Jewish household. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood, Ginsburg developed a strong work ethic and a passion for learning, which eventually propelled her to become a prominent figure in the legal field. Ruth Bader Ginsburg grew up in Brooklyn, New York. She attended Cornell University and then Harvard Law School, where she faced gender discrimination but graduated at the top of her class. Throughout her legal career, Ginsburg fought for gender equality and women's rights. Before her appointment to the Supreme Court, she worked as an advocate for the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, where she co-founded the Women's Rights Project. Her work focused on challenging gender-based discrimination and promoting equal protection under the law. As a Supreme Court justice, Ginsburg was known for her liberal views and wrote several influential opinions on a wide range of issues, including gender equality, reproductive rights, voting rights, and LGBTQ+ rights. She became a symbol of progressiveness and resilience in the legal community, earning the moniker Notorious RBG for her passionate defense of civil liberties. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's legacy as a trailblazer and champion for justice continues to inspire generations of individuals who seek to fight for equal rights and social progress. Ruth Bader Ginsburg had a remarkable educational journey. She attended Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, where she studied government, and graduated at the top of her class with a Bachelor of Arts degree in government in 1954. During her time at Cornell, she met her future husband, Martin D. Ginsburg. After completing her undergraduate studies, Ginsburg pursued a law degree at Harvard Law School, becoming one of the few women in her class. Despite facing gender-based discrimination, she excelled academically and ultimately graduated from Harvard Law School in 1959. Despite her impressive qualifications, Ginsburg initially struggled to find employment due to pervasive gender bias in the legal profession. Ginsburg's determination and commitment to breaking down barriers led her to start working as a law clerk. She clerked for Judge Edmund L. Palmieri of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. Later, she served as a research associate and associate director for the Columbia Law School Project on International Procedure. In 1963, Ginsburg joined the faculty of Rutgers Law School and became the first tenured female professor at the school. She then moved on to teach at Columbia Law School, where she became the first woman to attain tenure there as well. Through her extensive education and career, Ruth Bader Ginsburg developed into a highly esteemed and influential legal scholar, laying the foundation for her future impact as a Supreme Court justice. Ruth Bader Ginsburg had a loving and supportive family. She was married to Martin D. Ginsburg, whom she met while attending Cornell University. They got married in 1954 and remained together until Martin's death in 2010. Martin Ginsburg was a successful tax attorney and law professor. Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Martin Ginsburg had 2 children together, a daughter named Jane and a son named James. Jane Ginsburg is a law professor at Columbia Law School, specializing in intellectual property law. James Ginsburg is a music producer and founder of Cedill Records, a classical music record label. Ginsburg also had 4 grandchildren, 2 from each of her children. Both Jane's daughter, Clara, and James' daughter, Miranda, followed their grandmother's footsteps and pursued legal careers. Family was an important aspect of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life, and she often spoke about the support she received from her husband and children throughout her career. Her mother was born in the United States to Jewish immigrants from Austria and Russia, while her father, Nathan Bader, was born in Odessa, Ukraine, and immigrated to the United States when he was a teenager. Ginsburg's upbringing in Brooklyn played a significant role in shaping her values and worldview. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood, she witnessed the struggles faced by her parents and their community, which inspired her to advocate for social justice and equality throughout her career. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's origins and experiences as a Jewish woman in Brooklyn had a profound influence on her understanding of discrimination and her commitment to fighting for justice and equal rights for all. Throughout her long and distinguished career, Ruth Bader Ginsburg received several awards and honors in recognition of her significant contributions to law, women's rights, and social justice. Here are some notable awards received by Justice Ginsburg. The Thurgood Marshall Award, 1993. Presented by the American Bar Association for her contributions to advancing civil rights. The National Women's Hall of Fame, 2002. Ginsburg was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame for her remarkable achievements and impact on gender equality. The Berggruen Prize for Philosophy and Culture, 2019. Awarded for her work in advancing equality and the rule of law. The Academy of Achievement's Golden Plate Award, 2019. She received this prestigious award for her significant contributions as a jurist and advocate for women's rights. The Radcliffe Medal, 2015. Awarded by the Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study at Harvard University for her groundbreaking legal career and dedication to justice. The Liberty Medal, 2020, posthumously. Ginsburg was honored with the Liberty Medal by the National Constitution Center for her lifelong efforts to promote constitutionally protected civil liberties and equality. These are just a few examples of the many awards and honors bestowed upon Ruth Bader Ginsburg throughout her career. Her contributions continue to be recognized and celebrated by numerous organizations for their lasting impact on society. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's achievements as a Supreme Court justice include significant contributions to various areas of law. Here is a list of some notable cases and decisions associated with Ginsburg during her tenure on the Supreme Court. United States v. Virginia, 1996. Ginsburg authored the majority opinion, holding that the male-only admissions policy of the Virginia Military Institute, VMI, violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Ledbetter v. Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, 2007. Ginsburg authored a dissenting opinion in this case, advocating for equal pay, and arguing that the statute of limitations for pay discrimination should be based on each paycheck rather than the initial discriminatory act. Burwell v. Hobby Lobby Stores, Incorporation, 2014. Ginsburg authored a dissenting opinion, disagreeing with the court's ruling that closely held corporations can be exempt from providing certain contraceptive coverage under the Affordable Care Act due to religious beliefs. Obergefell v. Hodges, 2015. Ginsburg joined the majority in this landmark case, which held that the fundamental right to marry is guaranteed to same-sex couples, legalizing same-sex marriage nationwide. Shelby County v. Holder, 2013. Ginsburg dissented from the court's holding that invalidated a key provision of the Voting Rights Act, arguing that it weakened protections against racial discrimination in voting. Whole Woman's Health v. Hellerstedt, 2016. Ginsburg joined the majority opinion, which struck down restrictive regulations on abortion clinics in Texas, reaffirming the constitutional right to access safe and legal abortion. These are just a few examples of the important cases and decisions associated with Ruth Bader Ginsburg during her time on the Supreme Court. Her opinions and dissents often reflected her commitment to gender equality, civil rights, and protecting individual liberties. Ruth Bader Ginsburg made significant contributions to society throughout her career as a jurist and advocate. Here are some notable ways in which she made an impact. Legal advocacy. Throughout her career, Ginsburg consistently advocated for civil rights, individual liberties, and social justice. Her legal opinions and dissents often provided powerful arguments for protecting marginalized communities and promoting fairness and equality. Jurisprudence. Ginsburg's legal interpretations and writings influenced the field of constitutional law. Her opinions on issues such as voting rights, reproductive freedom, affirmative action, and LGBTQ+ rights have shaped legal discourse and provided a foundation for future legal developments. Cultural impact. Ruth Bader Ginsburg became an iconic figure and a source of inspiration for many. Her relentless pursuit of justice and resilience in the face of adversity made her a symbol of strength and progress. She is often referred to as a champion for equal rights and is known for her role in shaping American jurisprudence. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's contributions to society extended far beyond her role on the Supreme Court, leaving a lasting legacy in the fight for equality and civil rights. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was also involved in various charitable and philanthropic efforts throughout her life. Some of the charitable activities and organizations she supported include the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU. Ginsburg had a long-standing association with the ACLU, where she had worked as a volunteer attorney and co-founded the Women's Rights Project. She continued to support the organization throughout her career. The Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. Ginsburg donated several of her judicial robes to the museum, contributing to its collection and preserving her legacy as a Supreme Court justice. Cancer research and women's health. Ginsburg battled cancer multiple times during her life. She supported organizations and initiatives dedicated to cancer research and women's health causes, raising awareness and providing resources for these important areas. Scholarships and education. Ginsburg believed in the power of education and scholarship. She and her husband, Martin Ginsburg, established scholarships and grants to support students pursuing legal studies, particularly in the areas of civil rights and social justice. Social justice causes. Ginsburg actively contributed to organizations and events focused on promoting social justice, equality, and human rights. She participated in conferences, lectures, and events that aimed to advance civil rights and foster equality for marginalized communities. While these are a few examples of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's charitable and philanthropic activities, it is worth noting that she was known for her consistent advocacy and support for causes in alignment with her values of justice, equality, and civil liberties. As an iconic figure, there are certain aspects of Ruth Bader Ginsburg that people may have missed or may not be as commonly known. Here are a few noteworthy points. Friendship across ideological lines. Despite her reputation as a progressive jurist, Ginsburg had a close friendship with her conservative colleague on the Supreme Court, Justice Antonin Scalia. Despite their ideological differences, they shared a deep respect for each other and regularly attended cultural events together. This friendship serves as a reminder of the power of civility and finding common ground. Love for opera. Ginsburg had a great passion for opera and was known to attend performances regularly. She even appeared on stage in a non-speaking role in a minor opera production and spoke in interviews about how she found inspiration in the music and performances. Sense of humor. Behind her serious demeanor, Ginsburg had a sharp wit and sense of humor. She was often seen laughing and cracking jokes in public appearances, showing a lighter side to her personality. Fitness and exercise. Ginsburg was committed to her physical fitness and was known for her rigorous exercise regime. She worked out regularly with a personal trainer well into her 80s, emphasizing the importance of maintaining one's health and strength. Influence on pop culture. Ginsburg's influence went beyond the legal realm. She gained a significant following among younger generations and became a cultural icon, inspiring fan art, merchandise, and even a biographical film, RBG. She embraced her portrayal as the notorious RBG and recognized the importance of connecting with the public beyond the courtroom. These aspects of Ruth Bader Ginsburg highlight the depth and complexity of her character. Going beyond her legal contributions and capturing the multifaceted nature of her life and legacy. There are several valuable lessons that current and future Supreme Court justices can learn from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Commitment to justice. Ginsburg was unwavering in her commitment to justice, equality, and the protection of civil liberties. Justices can learn from her dedication to upholding constitutional principles and fighting for the rights of marginalized communities. Collegiality and respectful dialogue, despite her ideological differences with her colleagues. Ginsburg maintained respectful relationships and actively engaged in dialogue with her fellow justices. She showed that it is possible to disagree while still maintaining civility and fostering a spirit of collegiality. Strategic advocacy. Ginsburg employed strategic and thoughtful approaches to effectuate change. She strategically chose cases that would have a lasting impact on the law and worked diligently to build legal precedents that advance the cause of equality and justice. Consistency and clarity in opinions. Ginsburg's opinions were marked by their clarity, coherence, and persuasive reasoning. Justices can learn from her ability to articulate principles and reasoning in a manner that is accessible, allowing for broad understanding and engagement with complex legal issues. Awareness of real-world implications. Ginsburg recognized the real-world implications of the court's decisions on individuals and communities. She understood the importance of considering the practical ramifications of legal rulings, particularly for those facing societal inequities. Resilience and perseverance. Ginsburg faced numerous challenges and setbacks throughout her career, but consistently persevered and remained resilient in her pursuit of justice. Justices can learn from her strength and determination in navigating obstacles. By embracing these lessons, Supreme Court justices can honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg's legacy and work towards ensuring a just and equitable society through their decisions and actions on the bench.